What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to First and Goal on YouTube. This is the fourth episode of First and Goal on YouTube, and I just want to remind everybody that I will have videos uploaded every Tuesday and Thursday, so make sure to stay up to date on that. And as easy, simple way you can stay up to date on that is don't forget to subscribe, turn that notification bell on, so you can stay up to date on everything that I post on this channel. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start off with a little bit mixing it up. Let's start with some draft talk. I know we're only at midseason for the NFL, but it is never too early to start talking about the NFL draft. Let's start off with a mock draft. New York Jets. They are awful. I mean, at this point in the season, I think we can all agree that they're probably getting the first overall pick. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead, obvious pick, give them Trevor Lawrence. We saw what Joe Flacco did last night, and I don't know if that's either the Jets trusting Flacco more than they do Darnold, but listen, Sam Darnold hasn't played the way that the Jets expected him to when they drafted him way back in 2018. He hasn't lived up to the expectations that they have had for him. And honestly, I don't think it's the way we can judge him is a fair way because he has a terrible offensive line, really no good wide receivers besides Jamison Crowder, and he's a slot. Mims has potential, but he's a rookie, and he's been out for most of the year. So, and also, this franchise just looks dead. They need some pep in their step. Trevor Lawrence is going to give that to them. This is a no-brainer. Trevor Lawrence may be the best quarterback prospect we've ever seen in NFL history, and that really is saying something. Lawrence is a special, special talent. If you have the number one overall pick, you can't pass him up. Coming up, number 2, the New York Giants. Justin Fields, Ohio State quarterback, super athletic guy. I've hated the Daniel Jones pick ever since it was announced on that stage. And if you've listened to me for a while, you know my thoughts on Daniel Jones and the Giants. I'm not a fan of this pick. I think much like the Jets, the Giants need some pep in their step. They need a shot in the arm. And Jones, he just hasn't shown that he's getting better. Daniel Jones has not improved since his rookie season. He's turning over the ball at an even higher rate. He's on pace to well surpass his turnover numbers in his freshman rookie season. Much like the Jets, very similar situation to the Jets. This organization looks dead. They need some pep in their step. They need a revitalized offense. They need some more quarterback power. And this is actually different because the Giants actually have a pretty good defense. So if they can get that quarterback that they can all rally around, that they know will lead them to the light at the end of the tunnel, then they need to go out and get that guy. To me, Justin Fields is that guy. He is such a fantastic quarterback prospect. Number 3. Now, let me get this straight. I think this is a bit of a reach, but Jacksonville Jaguars are desperate for a quarterback. I still think he's a good player, but to me, this is a bit of a reach. Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. Gardner Minshew hasn't played great football this season. However, Jake Luton, he actually played pretty well last week against the Texans. It was against the Texans, but he did play pretty well, so maybe, we have something brewing there, but for the sake of this mock draft, we're going to assume that Luton is not the franchise quarterback. Trey Lance is a very, very athletic guy. He's an electric player. He's got the height to be a very athletic, very physical guy. Stand in the pocket, step up, throw the ball. But he also has the physical attributes to get outside the pocket, make throws on the run, and, scramble for extra yardage. That's really something in this modern day and age that you really look for in the NFL. And he's got all the physical tools to succeed. It's just last year in the playoffs with NDSU, we didn't really see him show up in those big moments. North Dakota State did win the national championship in the FCS, but Lance didn't play his best football. But listen, Lance, he's a really, really good player, and I think with some time, with some grooming, he has the potential to become a fantastic player in the NFL. Now the Miami Dolphins. On to the Dolphins. Now, quick side note, Tua played great. Tua played great against the Arizona Cardinals. He looks like he's going to be a very good NFL quarterback. The question is, can he stay on the field? But listen, one thing that I think young quarterbacks can't get enough of is weapons. Jamar Chase is as good as they come when it comes to weapons. Wide receiver at LSU. Again, a height, weight, speed guy. Can play in the slot, can play outside the slot. The Dolphins have some good wide receivers, but Devontae Parker, he's their best wide receiver. He's getting a little bit older. I think he's going to be 29 next season. And outside of Parker, they don't really have a bona fide, solidified wide receiver too. You could make an argument for Preston Williams, but I really do think they would benefit from getting another real number 2 guy. And Jamar Chase, he can be a number 1 guy. I think Devontae Parker is a really high-end wide receiver too. I don't really think he is that guy that is going to be your most reliable target if you're trying to make a Super Bowl run. But I think Chase can become that player. Him and Parker would actually make a really good duo because both of them have a lot of aspects to their game. They aren't just speedsters. They aren't just high point, fade goal line guys. They have a lot of aspects to their game, and they can beat defenders in a lot of different ways. And that is crucial for a young quarterback. Those two guys are going to work very well together and give Tua one of the best young wide receiver, or Parker's not that young like I mentioned, but one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL for multiple years to come. Number 5 is the Atlanta Falcons. Gregory Rousseau. We saw just recently that, just last night actually, the Falcons released Takk McKinley, their former first-round pick, edge rusher out of UCLA. He didn't really materialize for them in the NFL, and here I have them picking up another edge rusher, Rousseau, out of Miami. Rousseau is a physical beast. He is a physical specimen. He has incredible speed, incredible power. He has a fantastic swim move. He needs to work on, some of his moves, because in the next level in the NFL, you're not going to always be able to win with such great athleticism, but all the tools are there for this kid to become the next great edge rusher to come out of the NFL draft, the next great edge rusher in the NFL. Rousseau had 15-plus sacks as a redshirt freshman. Let's get that straight. He opted out of his redshirt sophomore year to focus on the draft, but listen, this guy is training hard. He is a physical beast. He is going to show out at the combine, I expect. I really do expect that, and he's going to go top 5. He is a special player. Atlanta Falcons defense has not been good, and my philosophy is to fix the defense. You got to start by fixing the pass rush, and Rousseau is a great building block for that defense. Now moving on, let's talk about another aspect of the offseason, but this time we're going to talk about the 2020 offseason instead of the 2021. Let's grade some of the past free agent signings from this past year. I want to start off with a guy that I was really high on this free agency period, and that is Robbie Anderson, wide receiver. Was with the Jets, signed with the Panthers this offseason. When he was on the Jets, he was pretty much a deep threat exclusively. That was his role on their offense, even though he did get the majority of the targets. Anderson has shown that he is much more than a deep threat. He is a very versatile player. He can run routes in between the hashes. He can get very good run after catch. He can take hits even though we see his skinny physique. Very talented wide receiver. He's top 5 in the NFL in yards. He's just racking up those yards. And can't forget, it's not like he's the only wide receiver on that team that is good. DJ Moore, one of the best wide receivers in the NFC, is also on that roster. He is also top 5, I believe, in yards this season. So both of them very productive, but Anderson finding a way to get his touches on an offense where really he was expected to be, yet again, a deep threat exclusively and a very short-handed wide receiver too. But he's playing like a wide receiver one out here. This team has 2 wide receiver ones this season with the way Robbie Anderson has playing. I'm giving this grade an A+ because the combination of Anderson and Moore has done wonders for this Panthers offense. Next, let's look at Tom Brady. Brady, he's looked really good at times. 20 TDs on the year. He's completely turned around this Tampa Bay Bucs franchise. But the reason why I'm giving him a B+ instead of maybe an A or an A+ is he's had some awful performances against the Saints both times, and the Saints do not have a good defense. 2 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in both games combined against the Saints. Not what you're looking for a guy that you want to be the guy that leads you to a Super Bowl, for the guy that's the GOAT. Don't get me wrong, I think Brady is the best quarterback, or not the best quarterback in our game right now, but the best quarterback of all time in the NFL to ever play in the NFL. Still, very, very good player, but he hasn't looked fantastic all the time. He hasn't looked invincible this season. We've seen that in the Saints games. Only 3 points on Sunday night when he played the Saints, but listen, no doubt he's doing wonders for this Bucs team. He's completely turning around not only the culture, but their performance as a team. They are 6-3. Okay, last year they were 7-9. They already are almost matching their win total from last year, and we are at week 9. It's really, really incredible that you bring in Brady, you bring in a couple other good pieces, and now you are a Super Bowl contending team. That's what That's what Tom Brady does for you. That's what he can do for an organization. That's what he's done in Tampa. So that's why he gets a B+, because he has completely turned around this team. Next player up is Jadeveon Clowney, the guy that signed late with the Tennessee Titans. I'm giving him a C-. Now, I know a lot of people expected this signing to be big for the Titans, but he has been bad. He has not been good. He has not been a good edge rusher. He hasn't been a good player for the Titans. 0 sacks this year. I know he's more of a run-stopping outside linebacker more so than a pass rusher, but listen, when you're being paid, or not, he's not being paid a crazy amount, but when you are being held to such a standard that Clowney is, you got to get some sacks. You have to get to the quarterback and bring him down when you have this type of role on a team. He only has 3 tackles for loss, too, so it's not like he's making it up there massively. And only 11 solo tackles also. He isn't coming in, making the hits, making those big-time plays that you would expect from a player of his caliber. He hasn't been good for them. Only a grade of 70, a PFF grade of 75.3. They aren't even giving him love. It's not like he's, making plays that don't stuff the stat sheet. He just hasn't been good all around. And Clowney signed a 1-year deal. I don't expect him to be back with this team, with the Tennessee Titans this offseason. Next, and our final free agent is Phillip Rivers. I've been going back and forth for this guy for a long time. I'm going to give him a B, right in the middle. Rivers, he's not playing great football. Defense is pretty much carrying the Colts, to be honest, but 10 touchdowns through 9 weeks, not very good. 7 interceptions through 9 weeks, again, not very good. That's nothing new, though. He's known to turn over the ball. That's what you get when you get Phillip Rivers. He's a good bridge quarterback, though. He is an above-average bridge quarterback for this team, and that's just what he is. He signed a 1-year deal. There are a lot of good quarterbacks that have high ceilings in this draft, like maybe that they'll be able to get in the 20s, which I expect them to be at, with like Zach Wilson, possibly Kyle Trask if he continues on the great season that he's having. So a lot of guys, some guys like that they could potentially draft and take over for Rivers. So I like the fact that he is very much a high-end bridge quarterback. But if you're talking about a win-now team, which I actually think the Colts defense is ready to, I think they're ready to win now. I'm not a big fan of the Philip Rivers signing, but overall, I think it fits for the Colts where they are right now. Because in a year or two, they are gonna be right in the thick of things for when you're talking about Super Bowl contenders. But I mean, Colts are in a great place going into 2021 if they can find their quarterback of the future. Well, that's going to do it for episode 4 of First and Goal on YouTube. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn that notification bell on if you liked what you saw. And please follow the Twitter account that I just recently made this weekend. That is going to be the hub for all things First and Goal. Everything that I post, you'll be able to see there. So that's definitely something you want to follow. Stay up to date on all my articles on the website. You can get that at firstandgoalfootballtalk.com. And, of course, stay up to date on all the podcasts posted weekly on weekends. First and Goal podcast with Sam Levine on Apple Podcasts. That's going to do it for this episode. As always, we'll see you next time.